Assim como? Não. Aí eu vou embaixo. Não.
Mas eu vou te bater. Sabe por quê? Eu vou te bater? Sabe por quê? Sabe por quê? Porque você me agrediu ontem. Você me deixou aqui sozinha.
Some got off cheap. Others were less lucky. But their images were all tainted in one way or another because of their sexual desire. Here are 6 players whose names were involved in a sex scandal. Number 1. Neymar Jr. Najila Trindade Mendes de Souza was never really subtle about what she wanted.
Eu queria, era intuito sexual, era desejo meu. Acho que ficou até claro para ele.
In May 2019, she finally plucked up her courage and sent a few direct messages to Neymar Jr. on Instagram. As she would later recall, they weren't sexually inappropriate or anything, but she had somehow made it clear that she wanted to quench her desire for the Brazilian. Their exchange over Instagram quickly led to them exchanging numbers, and they immediately started a very open conversation on WhatsApp. Neymar invited Trindade to Paris and was gentlemanly enough to offer her round-trip tickets from Sao Paulo to the French capital when the budding model told him that she didn't have the means to come by herself. Details of the flight were unknown, but Neymar didn't spare any expenses when it came to accommodation. On May 15th, Trindade checked into Sofitel Paris Arc de Triomphe, a luxury hotel in the 8th district of Paris. Neymar had another place to be when his guest checked in, but he allegedly said to the model that he'd pass by for a kiss. And when he did, the kiss led to the duo rolling around the bed. Everything was working out the way Trindade would have liked, until she asked Neymar if he brought a condom with him before going further. Neymar, according to Trindade, didn't respond and went further. He was no longer the sweet guy Trindade got to know through their conversations. Allegedly, Neymar committed the act while violently slapping Trindade's buttocks. She was in utter shock, and the only thing she remembered was yelling at him to stop. But when she finally processed what had happened, she came up with a plan: to make Ney pay. The very next day, the PSG star visited Trindade in the same hotel room. Little did he know Trindade had placed a camera to record what would happen between them. In the video that spread like wildfire all over the internet, Trindade was accusing Neymar of raping her, and she formalized her allegations as soon as she got back to Brazil. Neymar and his entire entourage were quick to react. The superstar denied accusations, while his father outed Trindade's identity on national TV. In little to no time, Trindade was all over the news in Brazil, and everyone was talking about her troubling financial situation. Also about the fact that she was given a notice of eviction. In the eyes of the public, this was never a case of rape, but a desperate woman risking everything to solve his financial problems. In less than a month, when Trindade refused to give her phone to prosecutors for further investigation, the case against Neymar was dropped. The whole thing was cut off as abruptly as it started. Number 2. Cristiano Ronaldo. On the night he became...
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough.
Number 3. Benjamin Mendy. It may now look like it was a century ago. However, it was only back in August 2021 when the entire footballing world was shocked by the news coming from Manchester. Manchester City's world champion defender Benjamin Mendy was arrested, and he was charged with 4 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. But that was only the beginning. According to 3 complainants' women, Mendy had used parties he hosted at his multi-million-dollar mansion, located in Mottram, St. Andrew, Cheshire, to lure young women in only to take advantage of them in the later hours of said parties. Mendy had a bad reputation when it came to professionalism, and he was infamous for his wild parties. But no one, even the people closest to him, never would have imagined he would do the things he was now being accused of. While the shockwaves from the initial news were still very much perceivable, a second round of accusations came in, taking the total number of Mendy's offenses up to 8 counts of rape, 1 of attempted rape, and 1 of sexual assault relating to 7 women. While this happened, Mendy was imprisoned, first in Altcourse Prison north of Liverpool, and then Strangeways Prison in Manchester. After months behind bars, he was finally granted bail with stringent conditions. He had to surrender his passport, never leave his home, and never, under any circumstances, contact any of the complainants. The Frenchman did as he was told, and then, after 8 months of home confinement, his trial started. During the trial, Mendy was described as a predatory serial rapist by Timothy Cray KC. The player never denied having sex with the women who were accusing him, but as he and his lawyer argued, whatever happened was always consensual. During the trials, Mendy acknowledged that he was not a good professional, and not doing what a professional football player should do was his only mistake. Luckily for him, the jury agreed, showing one of the complainant women having enthusiastic sex with Mendy's friend, who was also being charged with rape on multiple counts, changed the course of the lawsuit. That's how, after a 3-year-long ordeal in prison and in court, Benjamin Mendy became a free man. As we all know, Mendy, who was once the most expensive defender of all time, is now playing for FC Lorient, fighting to avoid relegation from League One. Number 4, Karim Benzema. Here's someone who has a plethora of experience when it comes to scandals. There's no other way of putting it. Goals, assists, and trophies are not the only things Karim Benzema has racked up in his career. From getting convicted of conspiring to blackmail to kidnapping allegations, KB9 was involved in some of the biggest scandals the French football scene has ever seen. And the incident, which is now known as the Zahia affair, is definitely among them. The year was 2008, and Karim Benzema was having his breakthrough season at Olympique Lyon. One night in May, days before he finished the League One season, with 31 goals and 10 assists, Benzema was in Paris, enjoying a night out at the capital. No one knows exactly why, but he then decided to end the night at the Méridien Hotel at Port Maillot. This was the time the young KB9 met with Zahia Dahar, a young girl who had just started working as an escort. Dahar, as she later told almost every single magazine in France, preferred the word escort over prostitute. But the fact of the matter stayed the same. One thing no one knew about the young girl back then was her age. She had just turned 16 years old a few months earlier. At the time, the age of consent was 16 in France. But for prostitution to be legal, the worker needed to be at least 18. But Dahar didn't want to spoil the party she was throwing for herself. She was making a lot of money, and she didn't want it to stop. Allegedly, KB9 and she was to spend the night together. But in the middle of the night, Benzema first left 500 euros on the side of the bed, and then he left the room. No one knew about any of this until 2010. But then, the anti-prostitution unit of the French National Police, BRP, raided an after-hours bar called Zaman Café, situated at the Champs-Élysées. The main target of the raid was a man called Abu Sofiane, who was suspected of pimping. Sofiane got arrested alongside 4 women who were among his clientele. When one of the 4 women started talking to the police, the Zahia affair was born. Dahar was surprisingly relaxed and open about everything. She had claimed to have slept with Sidney Govou recently, and also Frank Ribery and Karim Benzema, back when she was still a minor. Many people, Zahia Dahar included, believe that the scandal was the reason why Raymond Domenech didn't call Benzema up for his 2010 World Cup squad. The 18-year-old even penned an open letter to the Les Bleus coach asking him to take no account of what may have happened between some of his players and her. Luckily for Benzema, in 2010, an anonymous French football player, who was probably interested in her services, talked to Zahia Dahar on the phone and asked if she had done it with Benzema before. The secretly recorded conversation, where Dahar said she did not, saved KB9 from an even bigger trouble. Number 5. Robinho. Do you remember the time this young player from Santos was the most exciting thing in football? It was Pelé himself who had named him as his heir apparent. Who could have known that the same player would turn out to be this bad, not on the pitch but outside of it? In January 2013, the Brazilian was in party mode with a few close friends, and the venue they had chosen for the night was CO Cafe nightclub in Milano. Unfortunately, a young Albanian woman had done the same to celebrate her 23rd birthday. How could she ever know that she was to fall victim to a gang rape? Then again, it wasn't what happened, according to Robinho at least. In the later hours of the night, Robinho and the 23-year-old caught each other's eyes, and after a few more drinks, the young woman found herself at the table where the Brazilian was. Robinho, trying to defend himself, would later recall what happened as consensual contact between him and the 23-year-old woman. The reality was slightly different, though. It was revealed after a thorough investigation by the Italian police. After leaving the nightclub, Robinho had a conversation over a messaging app with one of his friends who was with him that night. And the way he responded to his friend when he asked him if he too had sex with the girl was blood-curdling. Robinho cheekily said putting his penis in her mouth would not count as sex. And he even added, "I'm laughing because I don't care. The woman was completely drunk. She doesn't even know what happened." The Italian judicial system did care, though. Robinho and his friends were found guilty of gang raping a woman after plying her with alcohol in a nightclub. However, the Brazilian was already out of Italy when that happened, sensing the circle around him getting smaller by the day he had completed a transfer move back to Brazil. Disturbingly, Robinho continued to play football all around the world and made even more money. Now living in Brazil, because the Brazilian constitution does not allow any citizen to be extradited from the country when they are sentenced abroad, Robinho continues to spread lies. For him, what happened in Italy in January 2013 was nothing but a smearing campaign. Number 6. Dani Alves. Last but not least, we have another Brazilian, a Barcelona legend on the list. And the events that sent him behind bars are eerily similar to those that earned Robinho his 9-year prison sentence. Dani Alves was well away from Europe for some time, as he was playing for the Mexican side Pumas. But he, just like his wife, Spanish model Joana Sanz, missed Barcelona dearly. The couple had the opportunity to get back to Barcelona for Christmas, and they didn't waste a second to do so. Christmas came and went, and the duo had a chill night in each other's company. But 5 days later, Alves had a very different night. On December 30th, 2022, the Brazilian was in the VIP section of a renowned Barcelona club, the Sutton. At the same time, a 23-year-old woman was also at the exclusive nightclub enjoying her time alongside her cousin. Less than an hour later, a waiter approached the young woman and told her that someone from the VIP section wanted to see her. After a brief discussion with her cousin, the young woman accepted the invitation and met with the man who wanted to see him. According to the victim, she didn't know who Alves was, and for some weird reason upon learning that, Alves decided to hide his identity or jokingly said that he was a pétanque player from L'Hospitalet de Llobregat. The duo started dancing, but it quickly became uncomfortable for the woman. Allegedly, Alves made her touch his penis multiple times. The dance ended abruptly, but a few minutes later, the Brazilian invited the woman to a private room, or so she believed. Her cousin told the 23-year-old to go and have a discussion to settle the dispute that took place because of the dance. As soon as she entered the so-called private room, however, the 23-year-old woman understood Alves' motive. They were now in the toilet adjacent to the VIP room. "I remember he lifted my dress and made me sit on top of his penis. I remember telling him, I can't, I have to go, I don't want to. And he started telling me a lot of things. When he later put me on the ground, I remember being in shock. I didn't know what to do there." In less than a quarter of an hour, Alves was out of the club, leaving the 23-year-old reeling in shock. For a long time, the Brazilian thought that that was the end of the story. However, while he was busy denying allegations, changing his version of the story every single time he did so, a case was already waiting for him in Spain. And when he got back to Barcelona for the funeral of his wife's mother, he was arrested and put behind bars immediately. As of today, Alves is waiting for a trial, and he already had 2 bail demands denied. If convicted, the former Barcelona star could be sentenced to up to 12 years. What a way to finish your career. With that out of the way, we're going to wrap things up. This was a tough list to go through if we've ever seen one. Who was the player that shocked you the most in this list? Be sure to let us know. If you want in-depth looks into any of these cases, you can find our detailed episodes on every single one of them. Don't worry, we won't judge you for wanting to know more. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.